Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee and hot.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Ha ha ha. See, I fooled you. I fooled you. I don't have a lot of volume here. That's a good way to start a program, with a big old marijuana chest cold or cough or whatever it is. Good morning, folks. It is Thursday, November 16th, 2023. Thursday is not the best day of the week, but it's in the top 4, which is something to say. Well, not really. Out of 7, I guess it's also in the bottom 4, if you look at it that way, since there's 7. So it's a good day, but it's a bad day. It's a decent day, but it's not so decent. It's good and it's bad and ugly. It's Thursday. It's gonna get a little warm today here. By a little warm in New York in November, that means like high 50s, maybe 60, which is a good thing. Sun is shining. Hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are. There are 2 Hunter Edwards that are comedians, and we got one of them today. Now, I had the right picture for Hunter Edwards that we are having on today, but I had the wrong bio. This is a problem because they're both comedians, 2 Hunter Edwards, on different sides of the country. Now, I think the solution is they could have gay sex and somehow have a child, and then they name that child Edward Hunter Edwards, just to fuck things up even more. Or one of them could kill the other one, which would, if they do it, they could do that on the show. It would be good for ratings, I think, but not planned. I'm not saying we should plan that, but it would be good for if we could get Hunter Edwards to kill the other Hunter Edwards on the show. I'm not encouraging hate and violence. I'm sorry. I take all that back. But speaking of hate and violence and all that I'm taking back, last night I did not do a show. I didn't do a show. And you know how I've been saying for the last couple of weeks now that fighting would be good for ratings and all that stuff, and it would be. I had a chance, and Ian pointed this out to me last night, that was the chance to actually have that last night. I had a guest scheduled, and I didn't do a deep dive. I don't do a deep dive. That's GD's thing. You'll go do a deep dive. I like to meet people, pretty much learn about them 10 minutes before the show. Anyway, I took 2 hours before the show. I was listening to this guy's new single. And first thing that struck me was it was terrible writing. I'm sorry. It's not. I hate to say that. I hate to be, everything's subjective, but this was very amateurish writing. It seemed like it was written by a boy in junior high school. a boy who had not gone through puberty yet, even though there was nothing sexual about it. It just seemed like really weak, childish lyrics. Also, the singing wasn't very good. And listen, I'm no one to complain about that. Yeah, you know that. All right. But also, the mix was terrible. The vocals were way down low. The guitar, which was very poor, amateurish playing guitar parts, were way too loud. But beyond that, so I'm listening to the song. The song is Just Go Joe. And it's about Biden. And, I'm fine with that. Political stuff, and you got a problem with Joe Biden, I'm all for that. I'm not a supporter of Joe Biden. And if you want to make fun of Joe Biden, that's fine with me. But it was bordering a little bit on Kid Rock-ish type of stuff. Hating on LGBTQ people and all that kind of stuff. And then it gets to a line where it talks about shoving all your transgender laws. And I'm like, there are no transgender laws. The civil rights laws cover everybody. Transgender people want to be included in that spirit of the law, which says that everybody is entitled to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. There are no new laws that say you have to, accept. You have to like transgender people. You don't have to like them. You don't have to break bread with them, but you have to respect their right to exist and their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And there clearly was not in this guy's intent. Calls himself the Christian outlaw. So I wrote to him and I said, listen, I can't have you on my show. I can't sell this stuff. I can't help you promote this stuff. But as a Christian, I expect you will pray for me and forgive me for saying, sorry for the late notice, but you're not right for my show. They came back and said, well, if you're anti-Christian, I should get some, I don't know who the hell he wanted to get to autograph the email that I sent them as an anti-Christian artifact. No, that has nothing to do. There was no Christianity in your fucking song, dude. Not one drip of it. Nothing Christian about it. And I said that to him. And then he came back with, well, you just Biden supporter. No, it had nothing to do with Biden. You could fucking rank on Biden all day long. If you want to know what it is, here it is. And then he said, well, I don't hate the sinner. I hate the sin. So you're admitting that there's hate there, and I'm not spreading hate. What you call sin, some people call the pursuit of happiness. Now, you might not agree with that. You might not understand it. But they're just trying to make themselves happy, just like you're trying to make yourself happy. Only you make yourself happy by hating on other people. So I had to cancel the show. Now, and Ian pointed out that, this was the fight you've been wanting. I mean, come on. I just did not have it in me. And I don't have it in me to kind of yell at a microphone at somebody who can't possibly hear what I'm saying. When you close your mind, believe me, I'm not for censorship, but there's a difference between censorship and declining to promote hate. And I did not want to be any part of promoting his hate. So with that said, promoting hate, let's bring these guys in because there's nobody I hate more than these two fuckers.
I fucking love you too.
All right. Good morning, GT. Are you muted?
I had my phone rang, but Mind Dog Coffee. I don't always drink coffee, but when I do, I get the shits. And I hate it, but I get the shits.
Right. So that's hate mail. I'm getting hate speech. You're out. You're off. You're out here. Listen, I want to express condolences. I don't know if you want them or not. I know you're getting a lot of them. You probably don't even want to talk about it, right? Yeah.
Oh, no, I'll talk about it because it's good material. But
well, that's you cold-hearted bastard, you.
What am I out of the loop of? Because I have no idea.
You're not out of the loop. There really isn't a loop. It's more like an arc, or a horseshoe, and it hasn't filled up yet. My brother died yesterday.
Oh, bro, I'm so sorry.
No, that's not necessary.
That's why his phone's ringing.
Right, that's why my phone's ringing because people are offering condolences, and they don't understand. My brother and I have had this. We were the last two. One of us was going to be an only child, and both of us have always wanted to be an only child. I win. See, and people, and like as soon as when I got the phone call that my brother had died, and this is so bizarre. I was interviewing someone from my other show, Done Way Past Funny.
Wait, you have another show?
Yeah,
he does.
You're out of here.
I was on it recently.
Yeah, and I'm editing it right now. Well, not right now. Right now, I'm doing this. But as soon as I'm
thank you again, by the way, for having me on.
You're welcome.
I let him tell a story.
Yeah, so while I was interviewing this person, and the subject of family came up, and I was talking about my brother in terms of comedy because my brother hates my comedy, and I
sounds like a good guy.
Yeah. So my brother, and I, like I said, we drifted apart like half a century ago. And so at some point I just said something like, well, my brother was always the cute one, fuck him. And at that moment is when he was dying. Oh. I did not know that. It's like, so yeah, I was like, did I do that? And if that was all,
oh my God, you Steve Urkel the situation? Yeah. Did I do that?
Yeah. And if that's all it took, why didn't I do it 50 years ago when I could have?
Yeah, if that's all it took. Yeah, if it was that fucking easy.
Yeah. I mean, because I've been actually protecting my brother from things because my brother had very bad heart, very bad blood pressure, very bad everything, and
not anymore.
Yeah, well, no, that's all cured now. Yeah, praise Jesus. Yeah. So.
Oh yeah! Wow. I am sorry, even though you're not sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for you know what? Somebody's feeling the pain right now, even if it's not you. So I'm sorry for whoever's feeling that pain.
Yeah, same. Yeah, no, I agree because there are a lot of members of my family who mourn his loss, and they will probably mourn his loss more so than mine because outwardly my brother appears to be the nicer of the two.
Outwardly, I don't know. I think inwardly probably a little too.
Well, no,
it's like one of those Thursday things. It's you're in the top four, but you're also in the bottom four.
Yeah, no, I don't know because like when my dad died at his funeral, like his funeral was tough because so many people said like nice, shining, bright things about my dad, and I just thought about the ape of the man that used to beat us and shit. You know, yeah, he was a fucking peach. Thanks. Yeah, glad to hear it. Keep fucking moving.
Did you get up and say that?
No, because it's his fucking funeral and you can't be that. I mean, you're not gonna, especially as a son. I mean, are you really gonna do that? And I mean, what that would have done to my mother, I can't even imagine. Like what me expressing my true feelings on that day would have been like. You know what I mean? But, so
at my father's funeral, the pastor got up and he said, "I'd like to quote Matthew," and everybody thought he was talking about the book.
Right?
He was talking about me. He said, "I'm glad he's dead."
No fucking way. He did not do that.
He did.
Oh my God.
But he was taking my words verbatim, and I was saying, I'm glad he's good because he'd been suffering for 2 years.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm glad he's dead. He's in a better place than I am.
And sometimes death is a blessing.
But people were like shocked, like because I don't remember reading that in the book of Matthew. It's like,
that's fucking awesome.
I think you should be Tracy Lords yesterday. You know Tracy Lords,
the former teen stripper,
She was a teenage porn star. She was in the 70s. Her stepfather got her into porn by saying she was over 18 and vouching for her. She was like 13 when she started doing porn.
Wow.
She's my age. But she said, nobody can tell the truth. Why are we so afraid of communication? I said, fear. Fear is the number one thing. We can't be honest. We're afraid of telling the truth.
Yeah.
Right. Usually,
I think funeral or no funeral, you should be able to tell the truth. And I think the whole world would be a lot better if we just said, listen, just because it does sound disrespectful to say shit at a funeral, but if you actually feel that and you need to express that, you should be allowed to without all that kind of judgment.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying I did not hate my brother. We had some good memories. We had a lot of bad memories, but the truth of the matter is, we just grew up to be two different people, the kind of people that neither one of us wanted to be friends with. Even though we're both brothers, we're just two different types of people, and we just
choose your friends. You can't choose your family,
right? And we just would never be. We would just never be friends. And we understood that, but we understood that we were going to see each other at the holidays and stuff like that. So we greet each other. We find something that we had in common. Like I was the pretty one now, and he wasn't.
Right?
We took our turns.
How ugly is that?
You. Yeah.
Anyway,
he. It's like right now. It looks like you've heard of the ugly tree and falling down and hitting the branches on the way down, or being hit with an ugly stick. I think was the expression.
That's right.
It's like it was like he was. Well, it's not like he got hit with the ugly stick. It's like he was in the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's how you really.
But that's just from rough living. That's just from rough living. He was a very attractive young man. Not that I would do him, but I'm just saying, as a young man, he was attractive. But
all right.
But he did a lot of drugs and a lot of alcohol, and he's just took a toll.
Well, we'll ask the Rev to say a prayer for him on Sunday.
Oh, he's. I'm helping him write that because I'm torn up about this, and I can't do it justice.
Obviously, clearly.
Yeah.
I just before we get to our guest this morning, Todd Nagurski, big Todd, is
Ted, you mean?
Is in the chat room, and he's saying, "Hey, Mind Dog, I saw your video about money in politics. What about insider trading? Politicians have inside knowledge that affects stock prices." I did go into some of that in a longer interview. I'm not sure if that got cut, but I did talk about that. There's Mark Wayne Mullen guy seemed to have profited off of the stuff that's going on in the Middle East now. There's a lot of that. There's all of that. And you know what? People saw a 60-second thing where I'm talking about money, and they think that was the entire message. Tell us something we didn't know.
The whole interview is great. It's a great interview, Matt, in my opinion. I watched it.
It was good. I wouldn't say great. It was.
I wouldn't even say decent.
It was in Matt. I'm telling you now. It was in Matt's top 10 interviews that he's done for politics for his campaign.
Yeah. I would say you're probably right. But I need to do more of that because the algorithm is sucking that up, and so now I'm going to have to be this guy who just every day I'm going to have to do one political take and try to.
Is there a way to point at the end of it to point people toward the whole interview so they don't just take that 15-20 second clip and go gospel?
I mean, you should be able to put a link to it in the description at least.
No, YouTube's not supporting that anymore. You can put the URL in there, but they still have to cut and paste. They're not supporting links and descriptions anymore.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, they changed that so you have 5 links on your channel. Anyway, but I'm going to have to do, but I'm going to run out of things to talk about because with the issues I'm running on are very small, very limited. I'm not a big thinker, wide thinker on there. I don't want to be fucking coming up with solutions for every fucking issue that comes.
That's what Willie and I do.
That's right.
We're
brain trust.
Solver extraordinaires.
Yes, we're your brain trust. You say I want to solve the problem of too many ants fighting over the breadcrumbs when the Blue Jays aren't getting enough. We'll find a solution.
Right. Okay. Now let's move on. We're gonna do this day in history later on in the program, but it's,
okay, I do have some. I made sure. I made sure to do something.
Well, we were gonna just make you do the homework and then not do it.
Okay, I'll be honest though. That's kind of why I stopped doing it because there was like 2 or 3 days that I had some, but we were so busy with talking and guests on the show that we never got to it.
You're muted.
Really?
No.
Am I?
No.
God damn it. Because anytime you say that now, I look straight at that little button to see if it's like X'd out or whatever.
I know, I'm just fucking with you because that's what we do.
But that's all right.
Before
but I don't know if you can, I didn't mention anything because I didn't want to, but I've only seen Matt on my screen. Like my like visual froze at 7 minutes and 39 seconds in, and I've been looking at Matt just staring at the monitor for like the last however long.
Wow, you're so weird, man. Anyway, we'll do a really quick commercial, and then we're gonna get to meet one of the Hunter Edwards, the one who is gonna. We're gonna have a cage match between Hunter Edwards and Hunter Edwards comedians, and see who lasts the fight. Anyway,
Let's get it on.
Last Hunter standing.
Yeah, the last Hunter standing. Let's play a commercial. Let's go with this one.
With humble East Coast beginnings in 2015, Daily High Club is the premier destination for glass water pipes, vaporizers, and consumption accessories. If you're looking to elevate your smoking game to the next level, you're in the right place. With over 1 million top quality smoking products sold, and with a growing base of over 10,000 monthly subscribers worldwide, we deliver the ultimate smoking experience. But Daily High Club is not just another retailer. We're lovers of the smoking scene ourselves, working with giants like Tommy Chong, Snoop Dogg, Chanel West Coast, and more. Ready to join the Daily High Club? Let our experts curate your collection with our awesome El Primo monthly subscription box. Or grab one of our fun and unique pieces from our smoke shop. Get started today. Visit minddogtv.com and click on the banner on the homepage.
All right, we seem to have lost our Willie, which is definitely a little bit painful, but it's probably going to be a little more concise. Anyway,
can I ask a question about that commercial real quick?
Yes.
When he's doing the voiceover, he says we work with big stars or big people like big people in the industry like Snoop Dogg, then Tommy Chong, Chanel West Coast,
right?
And he says and more, but the fourth person wasn't and more. The fourth person was Be Real.
Be Real.
And you used a lot of his Be Real material for the commercial, but you didn't say his name. I don't think he didn't say his name. And now I think since you're using you're using B-roll, not Be Real.
So would you like me to fire Willie? Is that the point?
I just want him to. I just don't think that we should say and more if it's Be Real. I just no.
Well, they sent the copy, so
so we just didn't have a picture of and more.
There is no and more. She's no. She changed the name to Nominus first of all.
Oh, she got married or divorced?
She just changed her name legally. I think she was going into show business. She's going to be doing some church show on. Sunday.
SAG. It was probably another and more. And SAG, you can't have the same name. You have to change it.
Well, actually, you can have the same name because there's a Hunter Biden who lives in Fresno. He's a Fresmedian, Fresno comedian, and then there's one who lives in probably the Raleigh area of North Carolina, and that one's here now. You want to meet him?
Yeah, but are they both SAG members or just SAGgy people?
I think one of them's a podcaster and the other one is a SAG member, but we'll find out. Good morning, Hunter Edwards.
Morning, yeah. No, Hunter Biden's he's done a lot for hunters. He's been a lot cooler.
Hunter Edwards. Yeah. So now that Hunter's a popular name. Were you familiar with the Hunter Edwards in California who's a comedian?
I was not, but I mean I can probably say the same for him. So
yeah. Well, I had your picture and his bio in the promo for this until GD mentioned they're two different guys. So anyway, he's part of Upright Citizens Brigade or something like that.
Yeah, and Park something.
Right. So are you in Raleigh?
Yeah, I'm actually I'm in Apex, but it's like 30 minutes out from Raleigh, so people just say Raleigh.
Very cool. Now I saw something. You play some comedy club in Cary.
Yeah, so out here in North Carolina, this is where I like to say comedy comes to die. You have a couple clubs. Your big clubs, you have like Good Nights. You have the Improv, which is in Raleigh, but it's in Cary, so it's Raleigh Improv in Cary. Dead Crow, there's a couple other ones, but yeah, I performed at all of them. A couple like a theater out here in Fayetteville, a couple other places as well.
Yeah, but my brother lives in Cary, and I've been to Cary, and it just didn't seem like the kind of place you would find a comedy club. So when I saw Cary, North Carolina, I was like, that's weird. It seemed like I don't know. You might find a Waffle House in Cary, North Carolina, but
it'd be a really nice Waffle House. Cary's like one of our places where you go to where you're like, this is where I'm safe. This is where. Well, I mean, if you're white, but you know.
Yeah. But isn't the pit still there in Raleigh? Is the pit still there?
I think it is actually. Yeah, I haven't been in forever, but
yeah. It's. I thought the pit was still there, and that's because I've done North Carolina, so I've done like
the whole state.
The whole state, and then was my dick tired?
I bet.
Yeah. Whoa.
So
there was a pit in Chapel Hill, but they closed down.
Yeah.
They closed down. Yeah.
Man,
I don't know if
I like that place.
It was a great place. I performed there. It was really nice. I think it just wasn't getting a lot of traction. When you're in a college town, people are like,
I don't think he did good advertising because I did a 90-minute show there.
Yeah.
And I sent him like flyers and stuff like that, you know, ahead promotion because I know that I'm not a commodity in Raleigh, but I figured once they
we have a ton of black.
You could have just stopped at commodity. You didn't have to put in Raleigh. You could have just I'm not a commodity.
Okay, I know I'm not a commodity. Period. In Raleigh. So I sent flyers and stuff like that but you know it was like they would hand over. I did all right, you know, for you know. Considering nobody knew who I was, I didn't sell the place out, but I did okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they don't they don't do a lot of advertising over there. But like I said, it's college town, so you're gonna get people that are like, hey, we're still hungover from the night before. We'll come watch you tell a joke. And then I mean college crowds are college crowds, so you take that as you will.
So but I
think one of the things that Boss's Comedy Club used to do that was the club that I kind of came up working at. They did their open mic night. They did a keg special, and that drew in the fucking college kids that live nearby like you wouldn't believe.
A keg special?
Yeah. So
we're bringing the comics too. Yeah, for real. You'd buy a cup. I think the cup was like $10 or whatever, and it was all you could drink from the keg until it ran out.
A fucking frat party.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. With a comedy show. Yeah, it was fucking dope as fuck.
I think that maybe I come from obviously I come from a whole different generation. But if you try to do comedy at some of the keg frat parties I was at, you would probably get killed. I mean, it was just.
I've done comedy.
You know I actually did that one time. I did comedy at a frat party. This is back before I went to prison when I was the host at Newwood Comedy Club. I was just walking around. I was walking around one night. And this guy, there was a frat party happening, I think at Augustana College or right off their campus. And I was just wandering the fucking streets that night. And this guy recognized me. He's like, hey, aren't you like the comedy guy from downtown? And I was like, yeah, I do comedy downtown. He's like, fucking come in here, man. And he invites me into the fucking party. He fucking brings me into like the big living room area, fucking tells everybody to shut the fuck up. Has me stand up on the fucking bar and tell jokes for like 15, 20 minutes. And that was a pretty good night. That was a fun night, actually.
Could you check the schedule and see if Will Conway was a scheduled guest or was it Hunter Edwards?
Oh God, I'm so sorry. I'll shut up. Here, I'll mute myself.
No, it's great. Every good story starts with this was right before I went to prison. So I was in a college town and I was invited by college people. Totally not to buy alcohol or anything else for them. And then weirdly enough, that night we got raided. I don't know.
Now you're working a lot for North Carolina. You just kind of laid out a scenario that's where comedy comes to die. But from what I can tell, looking at your Facebook stuff anyway, you're pretty booked up. How do you manage to do that in a place where comedy goes to die?
It's a lot of begging. There's a lot of these opportunities out here you kind of have to create yourself. Like, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of great people out here that produce shows and put on shows and things like that. But there has been a lot of I guess people pull you up by your bootstraps type stuff where you have to kind of work with all these breweries and other companies to kind of put on shows. I try to stay as busy as I can, but I mean it's not New York, it's not Austin, it's not Philly. No one's knocking at your door being like, dude, I need you Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, like all these nights.
Yeah. How long you been in? Because you've been doing a podcast for 9 years. Have you been doing stand-up all that time?
No. So I've actually been doing stand-up for about 9 years. The podcast has been about 3 years.
Oh, okay. All right.
Give or take, because I am bad at
the podcast. The pandemic made the podcast happen then, right?
It was a little before then, but we were kind of off and on, and then that kind of when all you're doing is drinking and
drinking
out,
drinking bros kind of type of deal. There's a lot of that going on. We just don't have booze here, or we would be that probably kind of.
Oh yeah, it makes talking so much easier, but it makes editing so much harder when you're like, oh, I don't remember saying that. But
you guys know what editing is? What does he mean? Can you translate editing? What does that mean?
Yeah, we don't do that.
That's I think that's when you trim the hairs on your face.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, all right.
It's close enough. Whenever I start growing a beard, I'll start editing my face.
Yeah. What kind of comedy do you do you do anything political? Because North Carolina, my brother is like a deep state right wing Q type of guy living in North Carolina. It's really hard to even talk to him. I got to kind of work my way around that. Can you do anything political down there, or do you do anything political? Do you have any interest in that kind of stuff to begin with?
Yeah, I had a couple different political bits. I try to not. I realized that you can't, and when you're in any type of like spotlight at all, you can't pick a side, because once you do that, then the other side's coming at you with another thing, and then the people that are supposed to support you don't actually support you, and it's like, what the fuck's going on? Can I cuss? I don't know if I'm supposed to cuss.
Yeah, you can cuss. You just can't say cunt.
Okay, cool.
No, so I think you can say it twice.
Well, I can't say it because my wife.
Oh, okay, but I get two.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So. I try, actually what's crazy around here too is there's a lot of small town comedy and there's big town comedy, and you go to these big shows that you're like, oh man, this is going to be rough. Like, these people are not going to want to hear about, this crazy stuff. And then you start telling the jokes and they're the ones laughing harder than people that you thought would have liked it. Like Durham now has become like, Durham used to be, you don't go to Durham, and now Durham is like, there's a brewery everywhere. There's horrible white people, like the worst kind of white people, the ones that drink IPAs and try to tell you, how you're a bad person. Yes. They're the worst. I honestly, that's white supremacy. White supremacy
I think we have different
IPAs.
ideas of what the bad white people are, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because when I was in North Carolina, I had different bad white people.
It depends on what part of North Carolina.
Yeah.
No, but I have a couple different stuff. I was raised conservative. My family's were from the South, conservative stuff. But my thing is, if I can't joke about my own stuff, well, I shouldn't be able to joke about yours. So I try to, everything's okay or none of it's okay. Right. And I prefer everything if it's okay. So
yeah, I agree. You know what? I had to kind of decline a guest last night because of what I consider hate speech, and I told people about, because I was remorseful that I had people expecting a show and then I didn't do a show. And so but then people, well, that's censorship. I thought you were against censorship. But not censorship. It's for me, it's declining to promote something that I feel is hate speech. Now, I don't think the platforms would have cared. I think they would have said, that's fine. Go, there's nothing. It didn't cross the line for the platform. But for me, it crossed the line for me. But I hear what you're saying. You got to be equal opportunity on all this stuff. And the guy was not necessarily politically aligned with me, but if it hadn't been for this hate speech, I would have let him be on. I mean,
even though the song was bad and was poorly mixed.
It was terrible. I'll send you the song. You will agree.
Okay. All right.
Is it worse than Pain? Because that's pretty bad.
It's very bad.
I can start using it for my next walkout song in my next comedy show.
So Hunter, have you done like the western part of North Carolina, like Asheville and the over there?
Yeah, so I'm the exact worst person in the world to ask anything about directions for. So I mean, farthest I've gone out in North Carolina, I've done Fayetteville, I've done Aberdeen, I'm in Wilson tonight, I'm in Charlotte tomorrow night. Back in Raleigh Saturday, and then Southern Pines, kind of it's kind of like a circle, but the circle keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay,
I've done some clubs in New York, but for North Carolina, it's kind of just been like pretty.
Are you ever planning to hit the road and get out of North Carolina, and what if so? What are the challenges there?
Yeah, actually, I mean that's kind of what I wanted to do this year, and I've kind of gotten on the road more. Not out of North Carolina, but I definitely want to. Challenges, money, effort, being more funny, stuff
Well,
like that.
money is only important if you need to eat or sleep on, or, not in your car or something like that. I'm assuming you have a car, but
I do. It doesn't move.
Are you a single
It
guy?
doesn't move. Hey, I got 2 of those.
Yeah, I am. I am a single guy, which makes it a little easier because then I can just if I pay for a hooker, hopefully she can let me stay at her place.
Yeah, I hear you. That definitely.
So you're talking high class hookers then?
I didn't say it had to be a nice place, okay? I just said it had to be a place.
Yeah, a box. She'll let me stay in her box.
Yeah,
And
I'll take a big box.
Yeah. Well, that makes it easier for you. But can I ask how old you are?
Yeah, I mean, this is a dating thing. Yeah, 27. So 28 next month.
So you gotta take advantage. This is the best part of your life. You got to get out there now. You should be on the road. I want you in Austin tonight. I want you in New York tomorrow night. LA the next night.
I want that too. And everybody tells me that's the best time of your life. But if this is the best, then I am cutting it off at about 30.
Oh, bro. Okay, no.
I hate to hear people who are like less than half my age talk like that.
Yeah, me too. It's right.
But I feel good about myself. I feel good about my decisions now, but I hate to hear you talk like that.
If I was happy, I wouldn't be doing comedy.
Well, most people.
Well,
I
don't see. I guess that's most people. But like, I'm happy and I do comedy, but I'm not trying to get famous from it or rich from it.
Well, you use the term comedy loosely.
And that's true, also. Yeah. I'm using it in a very strict sense, like for tax purposes, so that I have when I write it on my tax forms, I'm a comedian.
Yeah.
It definitely helps.
I tell you this though, if I were 27 and single, I don't know, there'd be nothing stopping me. Again, money only matters if you really want to eat or sleep in a place that's warm or something like that. But
right.
Comedy wasn't made for that. Comedy was made for people who are hungry, who haven't eaten in 3 days. So you get and you're in the green room and you're like looking for what you to steal the headliners, whatever rider stuff that he got on there. Like, you're eating crackers. And I had a friend, because music is not so different than comedy in this regard. I had a friend he basically lived off of fucking ketchup, packages that he got for condiment stuff. He would eat. That was his sustenance. He stayed alive on that.
It'll keep you alive.
Yeah.
So will stamp glue. Just so you know, back in the old days when stamps, when you had to lick the stamps, technically and legally, that stamp glue was considered food because it gave like 1/2 a calorie for every stamp you licked.
Wait, did I hear somebody with a dog?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh no!
They were quiet earlier.
They probably thought it was me. It's usually me. It's all right.
What kind of dog is
that? If you wouldn't have said anything, I would have said it was me just because it usually is me.
What kind of dog is that?
It's I don't know what it is. Something.
It's a digital dog. It's it's downloaded from Envato.com.
I love that you don't know what's happening. Like it resides in your.
It's my roommate's dog. So he's just a cool little dude. So that's why I call him. That's the kind of dog he is. He's just a cool little dude.
So now, how much do you do writing? Are you constantly writing? I mean, where's your comedy come? Basically, because I'm thinking about. I was watching CK last night talk about how he does his put together his specials, and he basically goes by just going up again into a crowd. He writes down an idea and goes into gets a few minutes at an open mic, or whatever. He can just walk into any comedy club and perform. But he does stuff that he knows or he assumes is going to fail, and he just wants to try out the worst material. And if anything works, he records it and then listens back to it. What's your? How do you come up with material?
Yeah, so I constantly I'm always on my phone for like promotions and other stuff. So I'll, I got to try to stay up to date with news and things like that. So I'll like write something out that I think like the whole thing about their remastering Bambi, which, I just was like, all right, remastering Bambi. So instead of his mom getting shot, it's his 2 dads. Put that down and put something else up. And it helps that a bunch of friends on here in comedy, my other roommates, he's a comedian from New York. So we'll just shoot each other bits all the time. I got friends in Philly that I text out like randomly and be like, "Hey, is this funny?" You know, when I was first starting out and all you're doing is open mics, you're like, okay, I have to kill every single time. To get up there and I got to be super funny and make everybody laugh. Don't ever do any new material. Just keep doing the stuff you know, because then people will book you. And now I'm like, I'm just going to try it. You know, if this is funny, it's funny. If not, you know, I'll work on it later.
Yeah.
Because when you screw up when you write new material and you're like, this is good. And then you go to a show and you do it and nobody laughs because you haven't perfected it. You haven't worked on it. So
Right.
I've done that way too many times.
Do you write longhand out? Do you write the whole joke out, or because what really impresses me about what Louis was saying is he writes down a line or an idea and doesn't really want to work it out too much. He wants to work it out on stage, just like, and he would use a dumb example. He said, like cows. I will just write down cows and then talk about how I feel about cows on stage. That's brave, but it's also really, you know, creatively free. Do you write out every single word of a joke or something?
It kind of depends. I will well, you said this problem where I'd be laying in bed at night and I would think of something funny and I'd be like, all right, cool, I'll remember that in the morning and I'll write it down.
No, you won't.
Yeah, I never did. If you're listening to this and you ever want to do that, never do that. That's the worst. Make yourself get up and type it out.
Yeah.
Please do that, because I've lost probably a Netflix special's worth of
in the last week. I can say I got
That's
my
relatable.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But no, I mean, it kind of depends. Like if I have a bit, I'll write it out. But if I have like a premise I'm going off of, I'll write out a couple things. And then what's good about that is when you go back to it, you might have something a lot better than what you first thought, or you completely forgot what you were talking about. And then you just kind of run with that. And you're like, I hope this is good. And so I try to write it out as much as I can. But before I do a show, if I'm trying to not study, but kind of go over, make sure I don't have everything right, I'll just write down a word from the premise. Like I was like COVID bits I was always doing about, like, you know, treating my mask like a condom, you know, like I'll put it on when you're looking at me, but once you turn around, I'm gonna take it off.
What the fuck? Bro. Wow.
I would just write down like condom joke, AIDS, something like that. And I'm like, all right, cool, keep going with that.
Yeah, we're stealing that one. Yeah,
no, I've been living it for years.
Fucking what? That's inappropriate behavior.
You mentioned your friends are comedians. Now, are you cliquey, and do you have a room you and your friends own?
We don't even own the house we live in. No, we there's definitely some cliques down here. But I think all in all, everybody supports everybody. I mean, you might have some, you know, differences, like you said earlier with the guy you were booking last night. You know, this guy's different than me, different viewpoints, but I'm still gonna. But then you kind of, no. But down here, there's definitely cliques. There's people that help other people out. But my thing is, you know, we're all trying to do the same thing. We're all trying to get the same place. And I'm not helping myself, and I'm not helping you by not booking someone just because I might have different beliefs than them, or I might think differently than them. When that person could have a opportunity next week that's a lot bigger than that and be like, oh shit, Hunter booked me for that, I should reach out to him.
Right.
But I mean, there's definitely clicks.
Yeah.
But,
that's the right perspective, bro. It really is.
It is a good perspective. It doesn't work up here in Maryland. It'd be like, yeah, they'll get something nice. They're like, yeah, GD booked me for that gig. That was nice of him. Fuck him.
Yeah,
that happens a lot. That happens a lot down here too. I won't lie. But I mean, to me, it's like, hey, like I said, I'm not bigger than anybody down here, and they might not like this, but they're not bigger than me. So
no, I get it.
I'm never gonna, you know, I'm not.
Comedy seems to be a craft where people who are very diverse, have very different opinions, can still be very good friends. I've noticed it. I'm talking about some of the bigger names that I know. See them. I don't want to mention names here. I'm trying to be really cute about this for some reason. But guys I know who are very far on the left, being really good friends with guys who are very far on the right. And but as comedians, there's this bond that comedy is our thing, and we can forget about all our differences when it comes to. And they hang out in the green rooms all the time, and they're friends, and they're part of the same cliques, even though they are very different people. And you don't see that in a lot of other creative endeavors at all. So
it's like astronauts, because people who speak in public have to overcome a great deal of fear, for the most part, or get really drugged up and out liquored up. But one of those three things.
yeah.
And so the fact that you're talking in front of people kind of bonds you together, because most people, the average person, to go like, I could never do that. I could never do that. So it kind of makes you feel special, you know.
Yeah. You know what? I've never seen. You know how Mitch McConnell will kind of just like he has brain freeze because he's so old, and or Biden or any of old politicians. I've never seen that among with comedians. I've never seen a comedian who stayed in the game too long. And he's on stage and just forgot his act. I saw it once with Sinatra in when he was doing late in life and forgot his songs. But I never seen a comedian do that. Have you ever seen an old comedian just lose it?
The closest thing I came to seeing that was with John Witherspoon from he was in Boomerang. Like I said, he was like an iconic and archaic black actor. So and he was at the point of his career when he wasn't telling jokes. He was yelling out taglines from his movies, and then people would react to that. So he might.
I mean, that's what
he wasn't telling. He might like he does. He'd be like, he was standing there for a second. He go like, "Pop that pussy! You gotta pop that pussy!" And then people for like the next 30 seconds would go like, "Pop that pussy! Pop that pussy!" And he'd like take a little drink.
I mean,
still selling out crowds.
Some celebrity acts really do that though, because that was one thing I noticed in Nitwits is that like Kevin Pollak was really bad in that way. Like he's a really good impressionist. Like he does really good impressions, but like the only thing he did, like he didn't really tell jokes. He told stories of knowing celebrities and did impressions, and that was it. Like he didn't have a comedy routine per se.
Right.
Yeah. And what's his name? The guy Willis, the one who played Willis, Todd Bridges.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I don't even put that on when I had an EPK, my early EPK, and he was like the biggest person I had opened for. I left him off my EPK. That's how bad he was.
Yeah.
Because he's not. First of all, he wasn't a comedian. He was just a drunk telling stories, trying to pick up cute women.
That's a comedian. Well, that's a local comedian. That's my whole bit. That's my whole act.
But he used to have a TV show. Yeah, and most young comedians didn't have like different strokes as a fall back on, or residuals from different strokes to fall back on.
That's gotta be rough, man. That you get a taste of fame when you're a kid, but you never really work for any craft or talent or anything like that. And now you still want to hold on to that fame.
Yeah.
Do anything for it.
And Pauly Shore. The Weasel. That's what I couldn't not remember
the Weasel.
Yesterday. He was famous for being the Weasel, and so this was in Cleveland, and he was trying to do real material, new material that was not the Weasel, and the audience would not let him, and they just kept yelling out the Weasel.
He gets pigeonholed pretty bad,
and he got pissed. Oh, he was so pissed off. He just read them the riot act, and I felt bad for him. I'm like, because I see him trying to work real. I didn't think the new material was funny, but damn it, he was trying to be something other than the Weasel, and the audience wouldn't let him. They just kept shouting. They literally shouted him down until it got into like a shouting match.
Yeah.
He's really funny. I've watched a number of his
stop kissing
different
ass.
clips
He's never
and
going to
stuff like
hire
that.
you. No,
What?
I said, stop kissing his ass. He's never going to hire you. I'm just teasing. I'm just teasing.
I mean, whatever. I'll be honest. I would love to work with Pauly Shore at any level. I love that guy, like for sure.
He's just trying to get to his
and
mom.
he's got a new podcast, The Jam in the Van or whatever. He was just on Kill Tony. I would definitely say Pauly Shore is having a resurgence, bro. That's fair to say.
A resurgence.
Okay. Well, my story about him is a couple years old, so that's okay.
Yeah, resurgence. Anyway, let's get back to talking to Hunter Edwards. Okay. All right.
Sorry, Hunter.
No, that's fine.
I'll mute myself again.
This is why I do crowd work, because they just keep talking, and I'm like, great, I'm filling an hour and still getting paid and not having to do much.
Well, you're not getting paid here, so let's get that straight.
Oh, so it's like every other show. It's perfect.
What about age related things in comedy. Now, 27 is pretty young. Most of the comedians I talk to on this program have more years than that, more experience. You started, well, I guess, 18 if you're 27 and you've been in it for 9 years, right?
Yeah, about
The
18,
age
19,
stuff, yeah. The trying to have enough life experience to have a really good comedy act at 27. That's unusual. So I'm guessing that the people that are working the same clubs as you are older. No.
You know what's crazy is around here, a lot of people are kind of around my age, especially coming up. There is a lot of new comics that are starting out, and when I say new, comedy is, and I'm sure you guys know this, comedy is one of those things where I'm technically still new. I've been doing it for 9 years, and I'm still new. Comedy is one of those things where, like, if you're not 20, 30 years in, you know, you're a rookie. You're still finding your feet. But yeah, you know, there's people that are much older. We have one guy. Shout out Jim Payne. He's like, I think he's like 80 something, and he still does stand up, you know.
Yeah.
But he's got enough life expectancy for 3 more days. And but no, everything's I think down here there's a lot of older people that try to be young. So anything you can talk about being young, they're gonna try to relate to. And
we can get them a patch that'll help with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, there's I mean, 9 years, like I said, it's still pretty new. Everything I joke about too, I try not to, anything I do with myself, I don't try to joke about like young stuff. I just try to like do the kind of the self-deprecation side. I don't really be like, you know, hey, when this, I don't even know young shit that happens today. Like I'm an old man. I
felt that way at 27. I felt like I was old at 27. Now I look back and like,
I'm still I say that, but I'm like, I could do like 15 picklebacks right now and just go to work. Like,
yeah. What about the crowds though? Because here, and this is more than just my perception. People over 40 here have a bad image or perception of what comedy clubs experience is like, and they're not favorable to comedy. Everybody thinks they're funnier than the comedians there. They haven't really gone in years, and so the people over 40 are definitely anti-comedy here. They have an anti-comedy attitude there. What are the audiences there? Are they young audiences? Are they middle-aged audiences? Who you
around here we get a lot of young audiences. I mean, you got RTP, so you have a lot of young people moving to North Carolina all the time. So we have a lot of young audiences.
Yeah.
And it's good, but it's also bad because a lot of young people are now trying to like be a leader and like, we need to fight for this and fight for that. And it's like, you're at a comedy show. Shut up.
Right.
I told a condom joke one time and this girl was like, that's rape. I'm like, what? Like, it's about not wearing a mask. So it's young people suck. And so,
my perspective, they're good and bad and everything, but the whole idea that some people here by age groups have a really bad impression of what stand-up comedy is, and I think there's a part of that is because so many people are in it, it's just oversaturated, and there are a lot of really shitty comics out there. The pandemic brought out people from the woodwork who think they could be comics and just have no business being. And you hate to be the one to say, listen, kid, this ain't for you. Don't quit your day job, or get another dream. Be a musician, be a juggler, be a mime. Do something else, because comedy is not your thing. But I think that leaves a real bad impression in people's minds, and that's bad for the industry as a whole. But you know, there's a fine line there between making that observation and then being the one to decide who should quit. That's a tough thing to do, anyway.
Yeah, there's people I've seen that I'm like, oof, okay, but I can't go up to them and say that. You know, I'm not at the point. You know, I'm still like, I'm doing I think I did like a biker bar like 3 weeks ago and got paid in steak. So I had nobody.
I was about to ask you, what is the strangest currency you've been paid in to do comedy?
It happens so little. The strangest I would say is money, but No, I mean, I'm not even talking crap about this guy, but no, I've gotten paid in food. I mean, a lot of food gigs. The worst I would say I ever get paid in is when someone comes to me and they go, "It's good experience." That makes me want to spit because I'm like, I've got the experience. I'm not worried about that.
Right.
But it's I would say, whenever someone comes up to me and they're like, "I need you to do this gig that I've been selling tickets for and sold out, and I need you to do 30 minutes." I'm like, "Okay, great." And they're like, "It's going to pay you an experience." I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
Like I've headlined, I do hours. Like I don't need to.
I got paid in an ounce of Coke.
See, that would be that would be okay.
No, the soft drink, not the powder. The
soft
drink.
Okay. Honestly, at this point, I'll take
a shot glass of Coca-Cola. No, and a bar was closing, and this is the '80s when people just Coke was everywhere. But we played a club that was a pretty popular club, but the owner was closing it down that night and moving to Hawaii. And we played past the legal limit. At those days the bars were open in New York till 4 a.m. and so we played right up until 3:50, but then that night we played till 5 a.m. and then when we were done, the guy just with the payment we got paid in the cash that we were supposed to get and a little more, but then he threw us a big gigantic bag of Coke, and it was like that was the.
So now you know why he was like leaving suddenly to Hawaii.
Yeah, no shit.
There's no doubt about this guy. I don't want to say his name, but he's one of these guys who was an ounce was nothing to him.
Did he own a DeLorean? And was he trying to subsidize his car company?
No, but he would put out lines that literally like a foot and a half long and like a couple of inches deep. Something that would take you all night, even with a nose like mine, to snort up. Anyway,
those are the good old days before like all the bad stuff they put in Coke. Back when Coke was healthy.
But Biden is trying to stop that.
The good days
Biden is trying to put a stop to that. He's talking to the Chinese about cutting off the supply of fentanyl to the U.S. So not the ingredients to make fentanyl. So Biden's working on it.
Right. I don't know.
Biden's going to make Coke cool again.
No, Biden is working on it by having his son snort up all the fentanyl.
Which Biden is working on that? Because it's definitely not Joe.
No, it is Joe.
If Biden saves the Coke game, he's got a chance to win that election, I think.
I think
they just need to pump him full of Coke so that way
Joe Biden is working with Xi Jinping to stop the ingredients to make fentanyl from coming into Latin America, which will stop it from coming to the U.S. And then Coke will be good again, and then people will cheer Biden and realize all the good he's done.
Anytime a president tries to fight drugs, it's always gone well. So
Coke was only yesterday's drug. Once he gets rid of the fentanyl from the other drugs too, because it's not just Coke. You're putting fentanyl in a bunch of shit. So once he gets rid of all that, or at least cut it down, he'll get his just due. He's done a lot of good.
First of all, Hunter's right when he says, every president who's ever tried to do anything. Listen, I go back to the Rockefeller years, and he wasn't a president. He was a vice president, but he was governor of New York before that. New York had the toughest drug laws in the country, and it just made things worse.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about drug laws. I'm talking about.
I know. Will you let me finish your thought?
You had a thought. No. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So the idea with drugs is it's always more about demand than supply. People think that supply is the problem, but I always thought Coke was a yesterday's thing. But yesterday on the news, that dopey news app that I got, it said that the cartels, the head of the biggest cartel in Mexico was telling all people, stop putting fentanyl in it. You're killing all our customers. They finally woke up to, this is not a good business model to be sending poison in with the drugs because you're killing off all the customers. So I don't think Biden has anything to do with it. I think the cartels are waking up to the fact that killing your customers is a bad business model.
Yeah, you want repeat
that's
business.
True. That is true, but there's still going to be people trying to do it. And I'm
Coke?
The fentanyl. They're still going to be trying to use it. I mean, I'm just saying it's good. It's good to have more than one approach.
Right.
The cartels can't do it by themselves. They're going to need a little help.
All right.
Yeah, guys, help the cartels out. You know, if you
Yeah.
could, please pledge to help the cartels.
Yeah.
Right.
They're gonna need a little help.
Right.
We stand with the El
Oh
Ninos.
my god.
You mentioned North Carolina being, you know, a place where people are migrating to from the rest of the country. Are you seeing
They are.
you're getting a lot of Northerners, right? A lot of Yankees, a lot of New Yorkers down there. What's the most annoying group of people from around the country? Are they
After
South
comedians.
Dakotans? South Dakotans?
Ooh.
After comedians.
No, there's people flocking there too, you know.
Iowans?
Yeah. We get a lot of people from like
Maryland?
Jersey and New York and stuff like that come down here. A lot of Northerners, a lot of Yankees come down here.
Yeah, I
As
know.
my grandma would call them, the city slickers. They keep coming down here, which I don't know if that's a term or not to say. So sometimes they'd say stuff and you're like, that sounds cool, and you're like, and then later you're like, oh, that was racist. No, but a lot of people from the north, like my roommate's from Jersey, he's Puerto Rican, and I make fun of both. And I also call him Italian, which pisses him off more than anything. So
wow.
Oh, you're the one pissed him off calling him Dominican.
Oh, I just said he's a wrong race no matter what. Anything I say, I'm like, well, yeah, you know, you Cubans, and he's like, I'm fucking Puerto Rican. Nah, that's all the same. That makes him more mad. Yeah. But no, I think it's weird when your hate turns from skin color to where you're from instead. So
you were born and raised in North Carolina?
Yeah, I was actually born. I was born and raised in Fuquay, which no one knows where that is, so I just say Raleigh.
You don't have a southern accent.
I don't, but if I start talking too much or drinking, it'll slip out.
Oh yeah,
right,
for sure. Yeah, and it slips out like the worst times, and it's the worst words. Like I was talking to my dad, and I accidentally it said "daddy" for something like because in the South people say "daddy" like
right.
Oh, my daddy, yeah, and it slipped out. Like, yeah, daddy. I was like, what the? He was like, he looked at me, was like, I'm like,
daddy, put me in a pretzel.
That's when my first one left. So
we'll call GD daddy all the time, but that's a whole other thing.
People, dude, it's weird because all those sexual terms and stuff, they don't make it down here because people still use that for people call their dad daddy down here, and it's just like, you know,
wow,
it's weird. You hear a dude called like a 30-year-old dude called dad diddy, and it's like, ugh.
Wow,
stop! You're turning me on.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So when you said Raleigh, you're coming back to Raleigh in a couple of days, right? Is that Good Nights? Are you playing Good Nights?
No, I'm actually I'm at there's a brewery, Incendiary Brewery, that I'm going to be at. I'm not back at Good Nights. I don't know if I'm really allowed to promote this or not, but I'll deal with it. I'm at Good Nights December 30th and 31st. I'm doing some guest spots for a comedian named Chris Allen.
Wow, it's a New Year's Eve show. That's going to be a weird one, right?
Yeah, I'm actually excited because December 30th is my actual birthday, so I'm gonna do a show then, and we're doing 2 shows on the 31st. So it's good. I'm glad.
So the New Year's Eve show, are you going on before? Are you going on before midnight or after midnight?
I think there's a show at 8:30 and a show at 10:30.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I'm just doing guest spots, so I don't really know if I'm supposed to like promote that. But I also just like to tell people because if they're like, "Yeah, we came for Hunter," then it's like,
"Fuck, you should promote everything you possibly
can."
For sure. Matter of fact, I would say when you do a guest spot like that, bro, you should tell even more people because like that exact thing is exactly true. The more people, like if you're just doing a smaller spot and you got 12, 15 people that come to see that, they're going to be like, man, I should book this dude for a bigger spot.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna go take a shit after another cup of coffee, and I'm promoting that. I've been promoting it for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I
you saw my flyer. Yeah.
If you follow my Instagram, you'll see that my whole Instagram is just promoting every single thing I can be on. Like I'm here. Every time I go to Good Nights, I try to talk to the managers, shake their hands, forget who they are, and then they're like, "Oh, you're the guy that." And I'm like, I like this. I was just there a month or two ago, featured for Heather Shaw over there at Good Nights, and that was really fun. So,
now, have you ever been recognized by someone as a comedian but for the wrong material? Like you know what I'm saying? They'll say like, "Oh, I saw you, man, the other night. You were great. You did that joke about being black and growing up in New York or something."
I get that all the time.
Yeah,
that's my closer. That's my.
You know what I'm saying, though, right? They'll remember you, but not and they'll try to tell you your material, but you'll be like, "That was actually someone else's joke, not mine." But thank you.
Yes, actually, pretty recently, this friend of mine, she went out on a date with this guy. And she was like, yeah, he says that he's in the comedians and he saw this comedian the other night at Good Nights. He thought it was hilarious. And I'm like, okay, I was at Good Nights the other night. And she's like, I don't remember the bit. And she said something about like, I forgot what she said, but I was like, I was like, that doesn't sound like me. She's like, well, the date went horrible. I'll never see him again, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right. And the next day she was like, oh, it was somebody else. I'm like, damn, I thought somebody knew me.
Yeah. When I was Hunter's age, I was playing with a guest spot at Kenny's Castaways. I was a subbing on bass, and after the gig, came out on the street, and 4 guys came up to me. They wanted my autograph, and I was like,
Groucho?
No. I was younger then.
Bruce
I
Willis?
didn't look. No. Tony Levin, bass player.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah, and you know, but I signed all the autographs anyway. I signed to Tony.
You just let him. You rolled with it. That's fucking great.
Yeah. Well, what was I gonna do? I knew there couldn't have been me. Like, who the fuck are they talking about? And when I finally heard one guy said, "Oh, it's Tony Levin." Okay, I'm Tony Levin today.
I got introduced as Hunter
know,
Williams one time, and I was like, no.
That's how you lived with the Chinese family for fucking 2 weeks, is because you just roll with shit, Matt.
Well, yeah. There's that. There was an English Chinese barrier there a little bit, and I think the kids I was hanging with didn't really speak any language yet. It was 3, so
they weren't really talking.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll do this after Hunters. It's a story about a Chinese baby that go ahead. I'll do it after.
No, do it now. What are
If
you
it's
waiting?
a girl Chinese baby, it can't be that long.
No, I was working at this house, and the family was Chinese and Vietnamese, and the husband and wife both spoke both languages. But they had their parents there, and the parents only spoke their own, Chinese and Vietnamese, so they had to like translate between their parents and stuff. They had a child who was just learning to talk, and she was talking to me, and she was like, just going on and on for like good 30, 40 seconds. And so thanks, Willie. And so I asked them, I said, I have no idea what she's saying. They goes, "Oh, we don't have any idea either. That's just gibberish." And I just assumed that because they were Asian, she was speaking either Chinese or Viet, And it's like, no, that's just baby talk. It's just you racist little fuck.
She's like, that's actually Spanish. I don't know how she learned that, but
Yeah. Wow.
The child was speaking Vietnamese.
Yeah. So that whole being somebody else. That's probably where that started. Just accepting the role with the this is who I am now. I'm a fucking Chinese kid. There you go. Yeah. Now, who are? This is a typical show business question. Who did you grow up like? 27. I'm thinking you probably grew up comedians. I don't know who were hot when you were a teenager.
So there's the comedians I started watching growing up are not the same comedians I watch now. Obviously. Honestly, when I was growing up, the biggest thing was like Dane Cook. You had Jeff Dunham. Those kind of guys. Now I was still listening to Anthony Jeselnik, which I still listen to now.
I love him.
Now I watch like Big J. Ogerson, Dan Soder, Shane Gillis. I was big into Norm Macdonald, Mitch Hedberg. I keep looking up like I'm reading a script, but I'm just trying to think. I also like no, so and I kind of my stand-up actually kind of I get this question all the time too, and it's always like, oh, like who's your because everybody's like, who inspires your comedy? And it's like my family, and they're like, no, like what comedian? I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I do crowd work like Big J. Ogerson. I kind of go a little dark sometimes, little not. But my roommate actually does a lot darker than I do. But
here's what I want to do. I've been thinking about this for a couple of days now. I want to do a fake crowd. I want to do a fake crowd work in front of a green screen to do like the most insane like crowd work piece. I want to write it up in advance and do a fake and have it seem like a real crowd work, real. that we could post on YouTube, because this is how Matt Rife blew up, is this crowd work stuff. But if you can make the crowd work really insane, like unbelievable shit, if you plan it out and fake it. I want to do that as like a kind of a hoax to see if it can get like go viral, like whatever that means, but like millions of hits on something, and then let people know it's not even fucking real. It's all, with canned laughter, a guy standing in front of a green screen talking to an imaginary people, and you put the voices and you put the little absurd things that people can say, but you can invent like the most fucked up people in the crowd you can imagine, and so
Yeah.
I want to try something like that, but
if you don't mind, I will do that next week. I'll on Tuesday I will fake that. I will be on stage and I will just do that fake crowd work.
Yeah, that would be good from a real stage. Yeah, so you don't even have to green screen it. Yeah,
right. Yeah. And if you want to write down some pointers, things that you want me to say in there, just in case there's something.
Well, that's the thing. I want to really write it up so that it's so fucking insane that people will say, "I can't believe this shit." Yeah, people actually saying that. I thought about basically, who's from anybody here from whatever, and you're married, and no, I'm not married to her. I'm married to her, but I'm fucking her, and that kind of, and then a fight breaks out and all that kind of shit. Just make it as like unbelievable. Like, I can't believe a comedy club would allow this kind of shit to go on. I'll see how many people fall for it.
I'll do something Tuesday. I'll actually give the audience some fruit to throw at me.
Yeah, because I did a bunch of things recently. I was doing a political interview and it was all faked, and I put like all these reels out there and people are reacting to it like it's a real fucking political interview. I don't know if you caught any of those, but they did really well.
No, so Hunter, they did do well. Yeah. So Hunter, the college crowd that you're not hanging out with, because you're actually. Did you finish college?
I didn't go to college.
Oh, you didn't go to college. So which college didn't you go to that you wanted to go to?
I didn't want to go to college. I really didn't want to go to college.
Duke, baby, Duke.
Nah, Chapel Hill, UNC, baby.
Yeah.
Wanted to go to Xavier.
I wanted to go to Harvard, but
why?
I bought a hoodie.
Nobody
Harvard Law.
Yeah. Smart.
So this is what this actually, and Matt will say to me. You ask everybody that. And
no, I know when he said who inspires his comedy. He said my family. I knew this question was coming.
Yeah. So who's the hardest member of your family to make laugh, or in your circles? Whose laughter do you really say like, oh, once you make them laugh, you did a good job?
This is the easiest question in the world to answer. It's my stepdad. I've made him laugh a few times. It's when it happens, it's like, but like,
what kind of
he'll laugh
at
like? Stuff.
What's he like to laugh at?
He'll laugh at like TV show stuff, but I think he just gets more annoyed when we try to be funny. Like the last time I made him laugh was I was kind of a joke, but also sort of serious. I was talking about how because they always know I'm usually broke because I just do stand up. And I was like, yeah, Sheetz has this special. You buy 2 Mountain Dews, you get 2 hot dogs. You get lunch and dinner. And that was the last time he laughed. And I was like, I was kind of serious about that. But no, he'll laugh at stuff. And when he laughs, that's when you're like, that's the one that's when.
So can you go to your stepfather and say something like, well, what do you call him? First of all, do you call him like daddy or
stepdaddy? Stepdaddy.
What do you call him?
No, I call him dad. I call him dad.
Okay, so you walk through and say, so Dad, I just stopped by to see if you need to borrow a few bucks. Would that make him laugh? I mean,
that'd probably make him laugh. He probably would fall over. Because then after that, I would follow up and be like, no, actually, could I have some? No, he like, you see like some stuff. He's not a big like comedy fan in general. He's like old school, like grew up on a farm, like worked his whole life, like, so. When you make them laugh, that's what I'm like. That's me and all my family, like siblings, we're all like, what can we do to ruin this dinner? Or what can we do to do this? What can we do that? And they're always like, Hunter, what are you going to do to ruin it? I'm like, why am I the one that always has to do this?
Right.
So.
No, maybe you know what? I wish I would have been more prepared for this. He's probably just waking up the other Hunter Edwards in Fresno, California. But it would have been good if I would have had the phone lines hooked up. We could call him and fuck with him a little bit. Maybe if you come back, we'll do that one time. I mean,
have you accused him of stealing your name?
Yeah. What I do is I actually go through every social media, and if their name's Hunter Edwards, I go, "Can you please change it?" I go, "I'm really trying to build something here." And
well, we got to do something. We have to do something to get you above him on a Google search, because if you do a Google search on Hunter Edwards, he comes up the first 5 or 10 listings, and you're buried down there.
I think I'm still on the first page though, but I think it's just because like podcasts and stuff. But
right. Well, because
on that first page that matters.
I'm still on the first page. If this was porn, I'd be fucking killing it.
Do you have an OnlyFans page yet?
No, not anymore.
Yet.
Yeah,
Not
your
anymore?
your whole generation is going to be living like watching each other whack off on.
I'm joining next week probably.
It's crazy, man. First dates used to be like, I think I'm gonna try to hold her hand. Now first dates are like anal or what? What are we doing? Like, it's not wasting time.
Yeah.
I
So
don't get it.
Like it. So do you like it when they peg you? Is that?
Hey,
It depends on the. It depends on how I'm
the
sitting.
first date.
Yeah, as long as the first date goes well, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, no, that whole area should be off limits. They should put an exit only sign on the asses.
Yeah, it's weird when second base is fisting, but
yeah. I mean, but seriously, with all this stuff, what's left? Once you go there, there's nothing left. The frontier.
There's lots
commitment.
left. There's outfits.
There's always
there's
commitment.
role play. There's
There's always commitment.
expand your horizons, dog.
I think we're circling back. I think we're getting so far deep into like craziness that like when you actually hold a girl's hand now, it's going to be like, oh shit, did you see that?
No, they
like,
do
in public.
They do like that simple stuff means more because it's rare. It's a rare thing anymore.
All you have to do is respect women. You know, bitches love being respected, and then you're set. That's all you need.
So Will, I'm sorry, you were explaining to me on expanding my horizons or beyond butt anal. Where were you going with this? You say role play? What kind of role play are you talking? You said role play. I want to know what kind of role play you do.
Yeah,
the garlic biscuit.
That's what we want to know. Come on, this is give me something for ratings.
Especially because of the whole
wait
before
you continue. Nothing illegal. Okay, go ahead.
Right, yeah, no, like, Viking warrior kind of deal, very, toss her around kind of thing. I love that kind of role play. Those are very fun. But you can do like superhero stuff, run in from the hallway and bounce
we
the
used
corner
to call that Halloween.
flip off the bed.
We call that autistic.
Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you might tweak your knee a little bit on that one though. You got to be careful. I
was saying I live on the third floor. If I take a girl upstairs, I'm already winded. So that's ain't no running in. My favorite role play is I'm a paralyzed guy and you just have to do everything.
I'm a paraplegic and I need some stress relief.
I go, I'm Helen Keller. Do what you got to do. That's
my tongue works. If you straddle my face, I'll lick it.
I like that. I would probably go with that. I'd get myself a wheelchair. I can get a Tinder date to come over and like act like I was totally paralyzed. That would be cool.
That feeds into my whole not being able to touch fetish. That's what the strip clubs get me is because I'm not allowed to touch, and that's what I like.
All right, make a note of that wheelchair deal for the movie because we got to write something around that. Just make
right.
A note
Yeah, no, that's a good one. Yeah,
that's got to be in the movie. Sorry, we're stealing
good job, Hunter.
Yeah, we'll give you credit for it.
Oh, thank you. I've actually had people take a few of my jokes and have
call you during casting.
Listen, as long as they give you credit for it, I mean,
they don't. But
yeah,
they don't.
No, they don't. But we will. Well, I'm just saying
that's all that matters. When this,
we're not going to pay you, but we're not going to pay you. But
when this movie gets picketed for having a handicapped guy have sex, they're going to be like, "Who wrote this?" Like, I think his name was Hunter Edwards. So,
psychiatrist. See all this stuff. I'd be bored with all this stuff. I don't know. I'm not. If you're gonna do improv, Do it on stage where you.
Yeah.
It
My
doesn't
sex
that's
now, I
every
just crowd
nympho's
work
dream,
the
this
entire
right here.
time.
Plus, I'm not good at improv. You know, I suck at improv, and so that would just put more pressure on. Like I'm supposed to say yes to everything before I know it. I'm getting pegged. If you, that's what
Yes,
improv's
and.
about. Just say yes, right? Yeah.
Yes, and not only are you getting pegged, and
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you. So now coming back to getting you ranked on Google, do you have a web page? Because all I found is all your social media stuff, Facebook, YouTube, and stuff like that. Do you have?
I don't have a web page actually. I've been working on an EPK, but someone a lot smarter than me needs to do this for free. But no, I'm not.
For free. Well,
Yeah. Oh, never mind.
Yeah. I was just going to suggest, because what I tell young comedians, because you're not been doing it the same amount of time, so it's not like you're a young comedian compared to my years, but I tell the younger ones to look at other comedians' EPKs and kind of cut and paste what works for you.
Yeah, I'm definitely working on it, but I'm all social media right now, which sucks. But
what do you mean?
So I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, but are
you a TikTok guy?
I'm on TikTok, but I try to get off TikTok, but you can't now. It's so easy. It's so much easier nowadays to become famous for something and then build yourself off of that. Like there's so many comics out now that started doing skits and shit on online on TikTok, and now they're headlining theaters and shit. And you're like, all I've been doing is telling jokes for 9 years, and now you're that. So it used to be you had to go to clubs, you had to sit outside the club, go there every single day, and finally they'd be like, oh, hey man, you're gonna get passed, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that. And now it's like, okay, now I gotta have an Instagram. But if my Instagram blows up, then I can, plug my Twitter. My Twitter blows up, then I can plug my Facebook. My Facebook blows up, then I can tag that. You just have to always be it's cheesy, the line in the world, but AP, PB, whatever the fucking acronym is, you always be promoting.
Yeah.
So whatever you have, I constantly am going out. I had actually on I'm definitely going all over the place with my answer, and I apologize. I had Ralph Sutton on my podcast. If you guys guessed Gash Digital, and we were talking, and I was like, how did you get to the point you are now with your podcast? And he was like, every day I'd go out, grab a handful of stickers, and made it to where I passed out 5 to 10 stickers. I'm not going home until I passed out for my podcast. And that's what I do now. And I'm the most annoying person you'll ever meet in the world. And
I like that. I like, the people used to hate me back in my youth, because every time we had a gig with the band, which was often, I would do midnight runs to put flyers, old school, putting flyers in their mailboxes, going around the neighborhood, and I would spend all night, 6 hours in a night, hitting as many mailboxes as I could, and drove people crazy with that. But
I put stickers everywhere. If you go to Durham, go to Raleigh. I mean, I was in New York last year. I was in Times Square. If I saw a sticker somewhere, pop another one on there. And
it turns out Hunter Edwards is the most popular name in the English language, even more than John Smith or Joe Jackson or something like that. I'm on Facebook looking to get the URL to your Facebook page, and I put in Hunter Edwards, and I have pages and pages of Hunter Edwards. Which one?
Yeah, you got it's Hunter. So I had to put everything as Hunter Edwards comedy, which sucks because when people book me sometimes, they put.
Somebody said
Edwards
recently, if you have comedy in your name, you're not a real comedian. I was like, well, sometimes you have to put that, because
I'm not at the point now where I can just be Hunter Edwards. I have to be Hunter Edwards comedy still.
But so can 7,000 other people on Facebook right now. Wow. And so I can't even find the link to the right one to send you. And now I knew it last night. You know what? Maybe I should go the back door way. Anyway, I want to find where we can send people to find
Facebook,
out more
Instagram.
I'm very surprised that you suggested going the back doorway, Matt.
I know.
He's
I know you are.
Our little boy's growing up.
Well,
he's becoming a man.
Yeah. Before I die, maybe. Well, I'm sure. That's a whole other story. I think I
try it one time before you die.
No, I almost died.
That could be what killed him.
Yeah, that might be what does it.
Ordering a prostitute.
So, if I can, There was a time I came home from a gig. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. Again, this is when gigs lasted till 4 o'clock in the morning. I get home 5 o'clock in the morning, pass out on my living room floor, and I wake up and there's a lump on my wrist that's like the size of a golf ball. And because I'm young and stupid, I'm thinking, "Holy shit, I got wrist cancer."
I assume everything I have is cancer. Like it has to be. I assume
So,
the worst.
I don't go to doctors. Didn't go to doctors then, but I woke up with a gigantic tumor. It's growing to the speed of light because it wasn't there last night at the end of the gig, and now it's there. I'm going to go to a doctor. I walked to the doctor, and I'm in his office. He goes, he said, "Pull down your pants." And I was like, "What? It's the wrist." He puts on the glove. And like, "It's the wrist," and then he jams his finger up my ass and gives me the whole thing. And then he's giving me all these questions about my heart and all this stuff. And I was like, "It's the wrist." He goes, "Oh, that. Bang it on a book." He said, "Yeah, it's a ganglion cyst. Just bang it on a book, it'll go right away." And I got in my car and I banged it on the steering wheel, and sure enough, it went away. It's like, we didn't have to go through. You just wanted to fuck me in the ass, didn't you? I mean, that they just wanted the pinky.
He probably bet some dude in the hallway. He's like, "I bet I can finger this guy before the night's over with."
Whoa.
And he was like, "Deal, $20." And he's like, he pulled it off. Guess what?
And what Matt's
Smell
not
it.
telling you is that during that examination, the doctor actually had a hand on each side of Matt, and so
At least he put on gloves. That would have been a lot.
yeah,
And hopefully he took his wedding ring
but he
off.
probably pulled it off.
Pulled it off. Yes,
When
that's
I was-
a good way to put it.
When I was 16, I went to get an exam for high school, and I went to where my mother works. And my mother worked in the clinic, and so I didn't have to wait, because they just took me as soon as I got there because my mother worked there. And so I go to the doors, and this woman says to me, "Just go in there and take off your clothes, and I'll be right in." And so I went in, took off my clothes, and the woman comes in and she starts looking at me and touching me and everything. And the doctor comes in and puts the woman out because she was not a nurse. She did not work there. She literally was just another patient who just said to me, "Go in there and take off your clothes, and I'll be in a minute." And I was 16. I was 16, and I did what the woman said.
Right.
I'm 27, and I would just be like, "I assume you work here. You know what you're doing."
Yeah.
Like, I'll go to
would
the
too.
dentist, and they'd be like, "Take your pants off." I'm like, "All right, well, you're the dentist. I know."
You go to a
And my
different dentist.
mother was so livid. My mother came down there and she was like, "What did you do to my son?" I'm like, What? She just touched me. I don't understand." Because
I didn't even finish. Come
I
on.
didn't even finish.
Right. I was like, "I don't understand." My mother's like, "What did she do?" I said, "The nurse just touched me." My mother's like, "She's not a nurse." I was like, "But she touched me, I was 16,
But she's special.
Yeah, remind me sometime to tell you about the hypnotherapist days when I would basically what he's doing, passing out stickers. I was putting my hypnotherapy cards in every phone booth on, and got a call from a girl who she was working as a massage therapist, but she wasn't really, she was working in a massage in a no-tell motel. So she was giving massages. I'll tell you that story sometime when we have time, but yeah, basically those you got to watch when you're handing out your cards and stickers to people just randomly like that. The podcast, quickly, we want to promote you. So podcast, when does it come out?
Great question. So supposed to be putting an episode out this week. We have, like I said, I'm bad at editing. We had some technical difficulties last week though.
Why do you edit?
Because sometimes I have to edit. Sometimes, and it's not because of anything bad, but sometimes if there's like dead air, or I'll have a guest be like, "Hey, I said something about my mom that I kind of want you to take out." I'm gonna be like, "All right, cool." Or it's also just make sure all the audio levels are.
Yeah, no, I hear you. That's technical stuff is our biggest problem. But if somebody asked me to take out that comment about their mom, I'd make sure that got played as at the intro loudly, and then several times.
I take it out of the episode, but it's still in the episode.
It would be to take it out the episode and make it a highlight reel.
Yeah.
Stand behind what you say on Coffee with the Dog.
I turn it into merch. I make it into a shirt, and then
Yeah. So it doesn't come out like at a set time or any of that kind of stuff. You just
we're trying to do every week, like around Thursday. But like I said, when you're doing stand-up, it's kind of hard. I mean, I'm not traveling as much as other comics are that are putting it out more consistent, but it does get kind of hard to in those late nights where you get off stage and people are like, "Hey, can I buy you a drink? Can I buy you a drink?" And you're like, "Okay." And then the next day you're like, "I got to remember to stop taking free alcohol from people. I'm supposed to do stuff today." But yeah, we try to do every Thursday. It's really fun. We've had like I said, we have Ralph Sutton on. We had Slobby Robbie from Netflix. We have a lot of local comics on. We have Dana Snyder is our intro, the guy who plays Master Shake. You guys know who that is. Met him at a con, and he recorded our 8 minutes of audio for the podcast. So
wow.
Yeah.
Well, very good. We wish you great success. Anything you have to promote, send it our way, and we will definitely keep promoting. And come back sometime. We appreciate you being here. And
thank you guys so much for having me. I love this. This is great.
Yeah. All right, come back again, and we'll see you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Bye for now. Wow, pretty cool kid, right?
Yeah, no, he was great.
Yeah, I don't call him a kid, but for me, 27 I might as well be in junior high school for me. It's a long time ago. 27. We have to get what?
Governors? No, just teasing.
Not Govs yet. No. We have to get to another commercial, and then we need to get to this day in
today in history.
This day in her story.
Yeah.
So let's see what kind of commercial do we want to play? Well, we don't want to.
Can you find one where Willie's doing the voiceover?
I don't have any where Willie's doing the voiceover.
Oh,
Willie, you mean him?
Yeah.
He doesn't do voiceovers.
No.
I don't know what
why
you're
would I
talking
do?
about.
Why would I do voiceovers?
That's not Willie. You think that sounds like Willie, the guy who?
Well, initially I thought it was Kelly doing the voiceovers, but apparently it's not.
All right.
Speaking of other, so when we were talking about all the coke, I was thinking, it would be a great episode to promote Mind Dog TV's merch that says, "My drug of choice is more."
Do we have that? Oh yes, we do have that T-shirt, don't we? Yes, we do.
I wanted to shout that, but I was like, no, I'm gonna.
I gotta start pushing that shit more. I mean, Christmas season coming up.
And I would like to. I mean, if you want more design ideas, I think we could do some more designs too.
Why do you actually do the design?
I had some shirts back in the day that were good sellers.
Well, do the designs, not just the design ideas. What do I look like, a graphic designer or something?
Okay. Well, I don't know. You're doing it through something already, right? Is what I mean.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I got to get a cup of coffee, so unfortunately I'm going to play a nice long commercial. I'm sorry, folks. I hate to do this, but
Kelly's going to be real happy because it's in her ear today.
Yeah. Well, GD, you can go get yourself a cup of coffee, or you can go. I don't know.
I'm gonna load a new bowl.
Yeah. Do that because this is going to be a long one, folks. Yeah.
Welcome to a better way to buy wine. NakedWines.com is a customer-funded wine business. We don't just sell wines, we make them happen. Since launching in the UK in 2008, Angels have helped us invest in over 159 independent winemakers in 14 different countries. Turns out, it's better business for everyone. Our winemakers get to sell all of their wines and make a living. We make the same margins as everyone else and have a lot of fun in the process. As a wine drinker, for the $40 a month you probably would have spent on wine anyway, you get wholesale prices. You can be sure that all of our wines have been lovingly made by a talented winemaker and stripped of all the costs that add nothing to the flavor for quality of the juice
the
in the
commercial's still
bottle.
going.
Support independent winemakers.
It
Get
sounds like he's on
better
Dorothy.
wine in return.
A little smooth.
With the support of 300,000 wine drinkers, we
All
find
right, take
talented,
your wine, take your flower off already. Let's
independent
get going. Come on.
winemakers
Yeah,
up
yeah.
front. This
That's
way,
me.
they get to spend all of their attention on making you the best wine possible. World-class wine direct from talented independent winemakers. A better deal, up to 60% off market prices. A better way to discover tasty new favorites with over 2 million reviews from wine drinkers just like you. Become
Just like
an angel today
Just like me?
and get started.
Yeah, you girl.
Visit minddogtv.com and click the banner on the homepage.
My God. Whatever you do, just buy some naked wine so we don't even have to play the commercials anymore. You just buy it and then we're good. That's torture. That's fucking torture, man.
I find it so entertaining, man. It's like
It's nice that when you can make yourself laugh, but I mean, a robust laugh like that, maybe.
No, it's made a lot of people laugh. I've said it to a bunch of people. They tell me that they find it absolutely hilarious. Well, my friend Sheila was like, "Why am I horny?" like she was like, "What the fuck?"
I've been getting a lot of emails from guys who want to take me out. I don't know. It's they think everybody's
do people
assuming.
not know that I have an email on MindDog now because I don't get email. Nobody emails.
Info? No, what is it? It's
Will
it's
at
no, it's not Will.
minddogtv.com.
It's Will at minddogtv.com. That's right.
Ted Nagurgizu asked earlier if my brother had dreadlocks too. And my brother did not have dreadlocks, but I want to share a little story about my
What
brother's
size
hair.
shoes did he wear?
I have no idea.
Oh, I was just thinking.
I know his feet were smaller than mine. I wear 12. I don't know what
I
he
could
wears.
use a new pair of shoes. All right, I'm sorry. I thought Ted was shopping for some used dreadlocks or something.
Oh, so my brother, when he was younger, used to live with his girlfriend, his baby mama. I think that's what the kids call it. And every Friday night he'd go out with his friends. And she'd always say, "Why don't you go out with me? Why don't you take me out?" He goes like, "I can't. It's Friday night. I got to go out with the boys." And every Friday night they had this fights. We called it the Friday night fights. Well, one Friday she just stopped arguing with him. He goes, "I'm going out with the boys." And she goes, "Fine, go ahead, have a good time." And she doesn't say anything for a month. She doesn't say anything. She just lets him go out with the boys. Turns out, so he realized that he's going bald and he shaves his head because he's going bald. And after a while, she tells him, she says, "You weren't going bald. I was mad at you, and I was cutting a little bit of your hair out the back of your head every day, just a little bit, so it looks like you were going bald." So,
Right.
so that's what she did to get back at him.
All
And
right.
so he decides to let his hair grow back, and it didn't all grow back.
All right.
Dude.
There's nothing
That's
funny.
some-
There's nothing funny about that. I just want to say that right now. This
Yeah,
is
no, that's abusive behavior for sure.
I think it's funny.
That's gaslighting your partner on a whole different level.
no. We
I
won't.
think it's funny just the sheer fact that she just played it. She just like said, "Hey, look, I'm not going to argue with you anymore." And she stopped arguing. She just started cutting his hair out the back. It was
I
like,
would like the audience to join with me in wishing GD a long career. This is actually his last day on the program. People weren't, if you're not aware, we're sorry to see him go, but that's
well, if I got to go, you might as well make it this week. I mean, this has been a good week for me. I mean, I have a birthday coming up in a couple of days. I'm an only child now. After a long, so this is, if I gotta go, let it be this week.
Wait a second.
I'm really glad you
can't be an
silver
only.
lining.
You can't be an only child if both of your parents are dead.
I'm an orphan also.
Yeah, an only child orphan.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. I'm an only child and an orphan.
He's an only orphan.
Yeah, only orphan. It's
Hey, you know what?
It's
It
like
makes about as much sense as everything else
orphans.
in this fucking country right now.
And
Matt,
you can find GD on a new website called Only Orphans.
Yeah, only orphans. Yeah.
Yeah.
Only orphans.
Now your birthday is Sunday, right? The 19th?
Yeah. I'll be I was born 1959.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like I said, it's a good week. If you're going to get rid of me, do it this week. Because I have, like I said, I got a birthday. I finally got to become an only child, so which has been my birthday wish for like forever. So finally, on my 64th birthday, I get my wish.
So here's what you got to do, because this is you're going to take the When I'm 64 challenge and do a unique version of When I'm 64 video on your birthday.
No. You mean the Paul McCartney? Will you still need me because that means I have to learn new chords. I don't know that the chord that they play in that song.
Not hard. It's not hard. If I can play it, anybody can play it.
What chord's in it? I don't know that chord.
C, G, F. There's an A flat in there, but
hell no, you can't. No, don't be throwing in like fancy things like flat.
Yeah, that's just C and G right there. Da 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 da. Yeah, that's all C and G, man.
I don't know. No, see, but you said an A flat. You're just trying to throw me off. You know what I would like to do? There's a song I do. It's called the Red Baron. 10, 20, 30, 40. No, da 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 da.
Yeah.
The Red Baron.
Bloody Red Baron. Yeah.
I could.
Will doesn't know that song.
Nope.
What?
Will doesn't know that song.
Never heard of it.
I bet you nobody under 50 knows that song.
What? Next thing you know, you're gonna tell me there's no Santa Claus.
What was Buddha Records?
There is no Santa Claus.
There was a Buddha Records.
That was on Buddha Records. Buddha was a label out of Ohio. 1910 Fruit Gun Company, Ohio. Not Ohio Players. What? Something like that. Maybe it was Ohio Players. Something like that. But short-lived record label back in the 45 days. No, nobody under 50 knows that fucking song.
What?
1, 2, 3 Red Light. You know that song, Will?
1, 2, 3 Red Light?
Yeah. 1, 2, 3 Red Light stops me. No?
No.
How about Yummy, 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 I Got Love in My Tummy?
I think so, but I think that was part of a commercial back in the day.
Well, maybe. That could be.
There was a Mad Magazine version, because they do song parodies. And it was like, dummy, 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 got a baby in her tummy.
Well, there was a Rod Stewart version. It was Cummy, 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 got lots of cum in my tummy.
Wow.
What do you know that
rumor?
Really
a Rod Stewart fan either, by the way.
Did you know the Rod Stewart story though from the 70s? The Coke bottle. He drank a Coke bottle full of cum.
Oh my God! No, I did not know
16 guys and had to go to the hospital, and they had to pump his stomach because his stomach was full of cum.
Oh, that's so gross. That's fucking nasty.
I think it's a fake rumor, fake news that got started somehow in the 70s. He never addressed it.
I mean, cum in my mouth is probably the one biggest factor that keeps me from being gay for sure. Because that's like a thing that I never want to have.
It's optional. It's not like it's not like it's mandatory.
Okay, that's true. But I'm not one of those kind of lovers. Overall. Like I'm a very tit for tat, we both, so I wouldn't be comfortable with that. If I were to be intimate with the dude, I would not you know what I mean?
How did you even just say intimate with a dude? Ew.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying though. That's the break for me. That's where I can go. For all the things that I like that's the line that I can't.
But you're perfectly comfortable with a woman squirting all over your face.
Right. Which again, see that like that, I'll double down. When a girl starts squirting, some guys will back off and just use their finger. Fucking not me. I'm doubling down. You're about to get licked twice as fast, girl.
No, I'd run and get an umbrella. I would.
Right. Yeah. I fucking get my wetsuit on.
And I'm a Swiffer. And I'm a Swiffer guy.
But for some reason, if it's semen, the idea of semen. But I think it also, it's probably very much rooted in my abuse. You know what I mean? When I was a child, multiple times I was abused by my brother, who was much older than me, and I was young, from when I was 10 till I was 12. And like that triggered me. I was probably supposed to be gay. And that's probably why gay guys used to tell me all the time that I was gay and I just didn't know yet. I was probably programmed a little bit that way. And my abuse, like
I don't want you to feel
diverted
like
it.
you're not special,
You know what I'm
Willie,
saying?
But gay guys used to say that to every guy they met in the bar. That's just
Okay,
what they
I
say.
understand what you're saying, but like for
Well-
as emotional as I am a lot of times, for the ass play that I like and shit like that, I think were it not for my abuses, I would at least be bisexual. You know what I
I'm
mean?
pretty
But my
sure-
abuses like make it to where like I can't, like, crossing that bridge in my mind would be a real problem, I think. You know
I'm
what
pretty
I mean?
sure that if the universe had its way, you would be neutered.
Listen, I tried. When I got shot, I asked that fucking doctor,
No.
will you clip that other fucking testicle
I
while
think
you're
there was
down
a,
there?
a glitch in the matrix. Both your balls were supposed to get shot off in that. And
I
it
mean,
was,
maybe. That
not maybe. I was in the time machine. I was working on that.
I am Iron Man.
Hey, let's say hello to Carl. Say hello to Carl.
That's like that
Hello,
song.
Carl.
I
Hey.
am Carl
Hey.
Man.
Hey, that's what gay horses
Hey.
Carl,
Hey.
to what do we owe this pleasure of your presence on this train wreck?
Well,
of a
I would-
fucking
you-
wasted podcast.
It is a train wreck, you're
Governors,
right. But
governors.
Oh, yeah,
Governors.
governors. It's time to get rid of governors.
Governors.
Governors cannot be exposed to Carl Mann.
Oh, come on. Let it go.
Um,
All right.